He's Tom Verducci, the senior baseball writer, Sports Illustrated. He joins us now. All right, recap the Cardinals accused of hacking into the Astros database here.
Yeah, well, a lot of people already have made the decision that this is corporate espionage. Cardinals are getting competitive advantages. This is something really serious. And I'm not saying it's not serious. You've got the FBI investigating possible crimes, so it is serious. But let's take time out because we don't know yet the scope of the breach. I mean, you're talking about the Cardinals who at the time, and you're talking about, 2013, this broke last year. One of the best organizations in baseball going into the computer system of one of the worst teams in baseball and taking information and posting it online for everybody to see. Where's the competitive advantage in that? And also, according to reports, the FBI has traced the breach to a computer that was used in a home, they said, by Cardinals officials, plural. I don't know about you, Dan. I don't know too many high management guys in baseball who share residence with other employees. So this could be a case of some of the analysts, some of the quants in the baseball analytics department going after Jeff Luhnow, the former Cardinals employee, who's a polarizing figure. A lot of people thought maybe he got too much credit for the success of the Cardinals in those years when they were doing a great job drafting and developing. It may be nothing more than that. If it goes further up the chain of command in the Cardinal system, then we have a big story. We just don't know yet.
This is more about embarrassing this former Cardinal official?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, let's go back to the great baseball tradition of stealing signs, right? When you get the signs, you don't publish them online for every other team to know about. You hold the information close to the vest. In this case, the information that was breached was posted online. That tells me it was more about trying to embarrass Jeff Luhnow and some of the other. He did take some other Cardinals employees with him to Houston. Than it is to say, hey, we're finding out something from the Astros, one of the worst teams in baseball, that's going to help us win games. I just don't see that yet at this point. At least there's no evidence yet.
Yeah, but the FBI is involved. That's different than, Rob Manfred's involved in this.
No question. The FBI is involved. It's interesting that they came out apparently and cooperated or arranged this leak while the investigation is ongoing. That tells me they may be stymied a little bit in terms of getting cooperation or buttoning things up. Don't forget, this case broke a year ago when the information was posted online. The Astros asked the FBI to check things out. They've been doing that. But you're right. I mean, it's possible there has been crimes committed here, and I don't want to downplay the seriousness of the FBI being involved. And as far as MLB and Rob Manfred, of course, they're monitoring it, but they're not running their own investigation at this point. They're letting the FBI run it. And once they're done with their investigation, then baseball will come in and say, okay, this is what we need to take care of in terms of fines, discipline, suspensions, even people losing their jobs. But we don't know that yet.
Who's in trouble?
Listen, there's people throughout the Cardinals organization that will be in trouble. Directly, probably, obviously, whoever is arranging the original breach, whatever their motivation is. If it was something, as somewhat benign as trying to embarrass a former employee, they're still in trouble and probably will lose their jobs, even by the Cardinals' own decision-making rather than MLB. But if there is something in place here where there's a systematic approach that the organization is kind of, even in a winking way, saying this is okay to do this kind of behavior, then you're talking about senior management. If they have any either direct or indirect green lighting of these people to do the breaching, then, yeah, those people would be in trouble too.
Before I let you go, Alex Rodriguez is putting up record-setting numbers. He's moving into rarefied air here and approaching 3,000 hits. And I know that there's an asterisk by it, and it's a performance-enhancing drug asterisk. But how are we going to divvy up credit, blame, excuses when Alex is all said and done with these numbers?
I don't know. Everybody will have to make of it what they will, but I guarantee you cannot just say he is an all-time great with no questions and no strings attached. I mean, there will be strings attached. I mean, I don't think anybody sits here today and says that Ben Johnson was one of the greatest sprinters of all time. We're not that naive. The times he ran were the times they ran. The home runs that Alex hit were the home runs he hit. but it's not so simple as taking things at face value. I will say this, Dan, that, no matter what his reputation is, I think Alex really has turned a page this year. I think he's cooperated extremely well, not just with the Yankees, but with actually the commissioner's office and being on so-called best behavior. And he's a way better player than anybody, and especially the Yankees had the right to expect this year. So give him credit, made a ton of mistakes in the past. I think he's really done a lot of harm to the game. But in terms of the present and how he's played and how he's conducted himself, no problems with that at all.
Would you be surprised if he was still using?
No, you can't be. I mean, this is a guy he's using for years and years. I mean, do you just get off it cold turkey without any kind of physical or psychological effects? Where, let's face it, a couple of years ago when he's in the playoffs with Detroit, when he had that horrible slump, his answer to break out of the slump was not to take extra batting practice or to look at more video. It was to call Tony Bosch and fly him into Detroit to give him more drugs. So, that's the depth to which he was using drugs as a crutch, if you will. So to think that all that just suddenly went away, and maybe it did, but because the use has been so long, it was not a one-time thing, you always have that in the back of your mind.
Thank you, Tom.
You got it, man. Thank you.
Tom Verducci, senior baseball writer, Sports Illustrated. Also, one of the color analysts for Fox's Game of the Week.